Well, hello my YouTube friend. Tonight it is my pleasure to make this video for you, not talking about a specific knife, but we are going to talk about knives in general, and more specifically about the different ways that we have of opening, whether it's for manual knives with thumb thumb studs, already starting to mess with the video, thumb holes, or thumb disc for this example of mechanic knives, and of course the flipper. Okay, so I'm not gonna part the video, but I want to discuss about those different way of openings, the pros and the cons, and also discuss about the detent, whether it's a really strong detent as this one, or a softer detent as for this one, for example. You see. So this is a matter that I wanted to discuss already. Probably I did discuss it along the videos, but I wanted to make this kind of recap throughout this video to check about, the different ways of openings that we have, again, the pros and the cons, and again, the detent, and to discuss in a way of the relation between those. Are they related? To me, they are. That's what I'm going to discuss with you tonight, guys. And of course, feel free to leave any comment in the section down below. This is just an open discussion and my thoughts and understanding about knives. So of course, it's a matter of discussion. So please feel free to let me know your thoughts. I think it's an interesting topic, actually. So we're going to part the video by, just starting with the manual opening and starting with the thumb studs. So thumb studs are really a useful way of opening knives. You see them a lot. The pros is that you can deploy that like with the index. There is no real pro. I mean, it's a way of opening on this one. I don't see anything more to say than, okay, you have a way of opening with the finger. It's a very, very useful way. To me, the con is that there is a dot on the blade. There are two separate things, the tactical point and the aesthetic point. On tactical point, I think some studs are just perfect, they're a really nice way of opening knives. They're versatile. I really like them. Now, in an aesthetical point, those are really ugly, It's just like an eye like that. You don't understand what is there here. And if you hide it like that, you will see that the grind will immediately become even more spectacular than when it's like that. You see, it's almost a flow for me, almost a flow. So this is the major con, I would say, for those thumb stud. Look at that. So they can be either, as on this one, only one thumb stud, or dual thumb stud for lefties also. So that's even two dots now on the blade. But at least our friend lefties can, play with their knives with the other one. So yeah, of course, just hide that. Look at the beautiful grind. Expose that. Yeah, it's ugly. Most definitely. Now, we have also another way of opening in the manual, which is the, let's start with the thumb hole. The thumb hole, and that's why I took a Spyderco, actually, has been invented by Spyderco. This is licensed and invented by Sal Glesser for Spyderco in the 70s, if I remember correctly. So that's probably one of the most ingenious inventions ever made in the knife world. Why? Because, with just a hole like that, you make the more versatile way of opening knife, whether it's with the thumb, with the index, for the righties, for the lefties. You can use every finger to play with that knife. That's a really versatile way. Also, there is the Spidey trick. I hate that. I don't know what it is. But, that's a versatile way of opening. Probably one of the most fun way to open a knife. And also, so that's really one of the first and most important thing in this consideration. But also, it creates a hole, of course. That's the matter. It creates a hole, and by that hole, it will bring you some tactical use, because actually you take off some weight on the blade. So by creating a way of opening, you also create less weight on the blade, which is absolutely, and it doesn't interfere with the strength of the blade. I mean, it doesn't weaken the blade by no means, and it just take off a little bit of weight. That's just simply genius. Now, man, is that an ugly, an ugly sucker? I mean, for Spyderco, whatever. I mean, they can fit, but sometimes they can be really, really, really ugly. Sometimes less. You know, when you have an oval hole, it creates, it's almost like a beast like that. But eventually, if you like grind, it's always better without a hole, for sure. But it's such a nice way of opening knives that, you know, it's just great. You know, the only con is that sometimes it's really, really, really ugly. That's for sure. So last one would be the thumb disc. And for those of you who follow me, you will be probably I mean, surprised to know that this probably has become now my favorite way of opening, and my favorite manual way of opening. Why? Because of the reason I exposed there. First of all, it's the lesser protruding or the lesser annoying part on the blade. So there's no hole. Look at that. I mean, you have a perfect grind like this one, this beautiful clip point, and it's not spoiled by this thumb disc. You know, just take off the thumb disc, leave it like that. I mean, it doesn't change a lot. I mean, it's not like with the thumb. Oh, sorry about that. It's not like with the thumb stud, for example. You know, that's totally different. I mean, it really spoils the beauty of the blade. This is the less protruding one, the less annoying one, and it's really versatile because they just one device can be used for lefties or righties, and you can, you know, it's really, really, really versatile way. Look at that. I mean, here with the Terzuola, look at that. I mean, it doesn't change at all the vision that you have on a knife. And if anything, I think it brings, I don't know, something more, I think, to me, at least. I mean, as I said, I spoke so many things wrong about the thumb disc, but before that, it was linked to me. That's why I didn't like the thumb disc, because it was linked to Emerson for some reason. You know, back in the days, the Emerson were the few to have that thumb disc, and the wave, the combo with the wave and the thumb disc, I just hated that. That's why probably I had this, I don't know, this bad feeling about thumb disc. But now they became my favorite way of opening. They are absolutely versatile. You can use whatever finger you want. They're great, and only one device again. Yeah, makes it for this opening. So that's for the manual way of opening. Then after that, you have the flippers. The flipper, the major con, I have to go faster, is the tab, of course. This protruding part is just, it's ugly, really ugly. But when the blade is open, at least you have the grind with no thumb stud, no thumb disc, no thumb hole, nothing, you know, just a perfect grind. And here you have a guard, which is just a real nice pro for a tactical use. So this is the major pro that you have with the flipper. It leaves the blade like perfect like that without anything on it. And it procures you a guard when it's well done, you know. So this is the major point on a flipper. Now, this is a true con. It's a real problem. That's why a lot of makers try to invent a lot of things like, that's a bad example, because actually the kickstop is protruding when it's closed, and you don't see it when it's open, when it could be used as a as a guard, but the choice here is more than enough. This is a perfect knife. I love it. That's a bad example. You have the SLT, the low profile flipper tab that was invented by Bob Terzuola. So basically it's just a low profile tab. The device, the SLT by Gus Cecchini, and the non-flipper flipper by Master Stan Wilson. So they try to find a way to get the pros of the flipper and without the cons, which is the protruding part outside. Okay, so that's the point for the flipper. I love flippers, but to me that's a real downer, you know. And also you can just, you know, just play it with one finger like that. Of course, you can use others, but basically that's the only way of opening. It's no real versatility on that. Now, the 5 minutes left, I want to discuss about the detent, okay? So detent, of course, you can have some really strong detent like that. And oh man, you cannot break that detent. It's really strong. Try to hear the noise of the detent here. Boom. It's really, really hard. So hard detent, and here, lower detent, weaker detent, I would say. You see, the blade opens like that. What is the choice? I mean, what is the point here of discussion? The point of discussion is that when you're going to use a manual knife, you need, I mean, the maker will have a tremendous amount of trouble to decide what he will choose for a detent. Why? Because, you know, when you have a knife like that, man, is that really delicate to open it like that, you know, smoothly, just open it like that, it's really smooth. But if you do it like that, it means that the detent ball and the hole are not that big, you know, and you have not a lot of things to do to break the detent. And the result will be that, you see, you won't have a lot of retention. So that's for the weaker one. Then after that, you will have a stronger one. That's great because you won't break it for sure. But if you want to deploy it, you see, it's not going to be as smooth as the other one. So it's a matter of choice. I mean, what do you want? I mean, to, you know, really open it like that hardly, or flick it, because this is done for flicking, or open it more delicately like that. That's really a matter of concern. And sometimes the detent is so strong on the manual way that it can hurt your thumb when you're trying to open that. So for the maker, it's a really, really, really big concern, and that's why usually you can be sure that the detent on the manual knives will be weaker than the flipper, because the flipper, there is absolutely no use to make them with a weaker detent, because that would be silly, because the flipper, I mean, the action is so strong when you press on this lever here. That's so strong that you won't force. I mean, you will, of course, you will break it for sure. So here you don't have any use of doing a weaker detent. But for the thumb opening, that can be an issue. I mean, if you take a knife like that, man, you really need to have the Dalibor thumb really trained, because if you want to open that blade, believe me, you put a lot of effort in that. It's really, really a strong detent. And believe me, for a lot of people, this knife, when I open it like that, not a lot of people could do that. It's because really I'm trained about that. And even with the thumb, it's you really need to break it, you know. So there's a training for that. So a lot of maker will decide again to go for a weaker detent, you know. That was my point, you know. My point is that I cannot accept when a maker will make a flipper with a weak detent. To me, it's a flaw. It's a flaw, and it's a concern for the maker, because again, there is absolutely no need to make weaker detent for flipper. So that, if you have a flipper, to me, I consider it like that. When I receive a flipper and the detent is weak, it's a flaw. It's a problem of the maker. When I receive something like that, you know, that's just absolutely pristine, and when I do just like that, and the blade doesn't fall by accident, and when I can open it like that delicately, to me it's not a flaw, it's just a desire of the maker to make a smoother action on his knife. And he decided to do like that. You like it, whether you like it or not, it's not a problem. You know, it's a matter of choice or opinion, but to me, it's acceptable for a lot of people, you know, as this is acceptable, you know, a really, really, really strong detent, and the fact that you will flick it and open it more difficultly if you want to make a smooth action on that. Again, it's a matter of choice. This is why I wanted to discuss with you. You know, even with Spyderco, when you have a flipper, this is just unbreakable. And when you do the same company, and only with the thumb hole, you see, I don't have a lot of this. The detent on this one is way weaker. Let me see. You see, way weaker than the other one. The other one, you cannot break it. It's impossible. So for the same knife, you will have different detent. Why? Because on this one, I think there is a flipper, and there is no need to make a weaker detent on a flipper. Even for production knife, you will see a different kind of detent for almost the same knives. So that's why I wanted to talk to you about tonight, and I'm going to leave it at that because we are heading to the 15 minutes that I don't want to go over, and I hope that this has been entertaining as it was for me to do it. Bye bye, my friends.